right back, Charlie's definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on. And we're back, people. Deluded, I'm back again. Happy Sunday, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Hope you're all enjoying the transfer news and the rumours. Hope you're all missing Arsenal. We are the champions. And obviously the World Cup, man. You know, I watched the highlights. There was no way in God's green earth I was going to be able to stay up for Turkey versus Australia. But, you know, great moment for the lad that scored for Australia. Australia won 2-0. Scotland versus Haiti. Haiti are a better side than given credit for. It was a much more even game. Let's have it right. Morocco, and we're going to get on to Bouaddi. Morocco, Brazil was poor, man. In many aspects, I actually think Morocco are fortunate that they didn't concede in the second half. I do think Real Madrid. I do think Brazil were better. First off, literally the first 10 minutes, I thought it was going to get ugly for Brazil. You know, after the way Morocco play, you know, it looked mad, if I'm completely honest. Bouaddi's the star of the show. You know, Morocco are blessed with technical ability, but Brazil is sad, man. Like, I'm 31. For the last 24 years, Brazil is not a serious footballing nation. I'm not talking about the fans and the culture, but the climate. And I do think there's a bunch of reasons. I think, you know, players leave Brazil too early. I think you don't get here overnight. I feel, you know, players leave Brazil too early. I feel they've gone towards a European-centric model versus what made Brazil Brazil. Tactically, they look inept. You know, Guimaraes doesn't have the legs. Casemiro ain't got the legs. Fabinho ain't got the legs. The midfield doesn't have the legs. There's too many gaps from the defense to midfield, from midfield to attack. It's just a shambles for Brazil, and it's disappointing. It's a reminder that Brazil are not one of the best Brazilian sides. But yeah, man, in many ways, Brazil, Morocco lived up to the hype. In many ways, it didn't. Bouaddi's the show. Not going to lie, I do think those, including myself, are gassing up Bouaddi's performance. But that being said, in my opinion, he's an Arsenal midfielder. The positions he takes up, receiving the ball off the centre half, his defensive due diligence, his tactical secure, he's secure technically, his passing range good. He wants the ball under all conditions. He's a high IQ footballer, a thinker's man's footballer. And for an 18-year-old making his debut, you know, seen as one of the poster boys for Morocco, where you look through their 11, they're blessed with talent. 1-1 was a good draw, but Bouaddi's price tag is only going to go up. You know, we've seen it go from 40 to 50 million euros to around 60, 70 million euros prior to the tournament. If he picks up where he left off against Brazil, it's going to go up and up. And where you look at the Tonali-Bouaddi debate, I would have Tonali, but Bouaddi just makes sense. You know, in many ways, he shows his age. It's a contradiction, because for me, he's mature way beyond his years. He doesn't play like an 18-year-old. He's got a great temperament and all of those things, but he is subject to rash decisions. So I do think he's had a good footballing education, a good foundation that could be crafted. You know, I think he's played over 100 times for Lille. You know, he's played in Europe. He's played in Europe for them. He's playing in the French division, which I do think people underestimate how physical that league is. Obviously, if it's a physical league and you thrive, what we could do in the Premier League. And could you imagine having Miles Lewis-Skelly, Declan Rice, Zubamendi, and Bouaddi? I think Zubamendi might cut back to Spain in the next year or so, personally, but those are 4 very good options. Arsenal fans, you know, you can make a case of a left back coming in, you know, someone that can play left back and right back. You can make a case of another centre half. We're still linked with them. You know, many people wouldn't force the ball out, but if you get a young emerging Krupi or an established star in Alvarez, people would want a striker. I think everybody, like, they would nitpick at those things I said, right? The one area I think every Arsenal fan would agree needs to be addressed, and it can't go beyond, is left-hand side. But midfield, you know, we don't have an ability to rotate with Rice. We don't really have legs if Rice isn't there, you know, to play with him. And could you imagine Bouaddi and Rice in the midfield, Lewis-Skelly and Bouaddi in the midfield? And we'd have the perfect blend of players for the short, medium, and long term. We've got players in their prime, players that are approaching that, players that are on the wrong side of 30 but can help us in right now mode. Bouaddi will pay his price tag. Everyone in Europe wants him. PSG do great recruitment from everywhere in the world, but they buy the best fresh talents. He's linked with Liverpool, and I think, admittedly, where you look at Arsenal, you can make a case you're going to start week in, week out for Liverpool. I don't necessarily think that might be the case. So someone's got to miss out, whether that's Lewis Skelly, whether that's Zubamendi, whether that's Rice, whether that's Bouaddi. Of course, there's 50, 60 games in a season, so it's going to go on and on and on. But you get the point, man. But yeah, long story short, quality player, man, quality player. In terms of watch-alongs today, we will be watching, I believe, Holland, Japan. I've scheduled it, but admittedly, I am feeling a bit knackered and cream crackered. If I've got it in me, we will watch Ecuador, Ivory Coast, man, because that's going to be a decent game. Valera, appreciate the mods, man. The prices for Bouaddi are going to skyrocket. Many clubs are interested as well. It's going to be tough. Exactly. Whether it's the World Cup, whether it's his ability anyways, the fact that Liverpool are linked, Arsenal are linked, Chelsea are linked, PSG are linked. If you're Leo who sell players anyways, you want all of these lot to create a bidding war, really, really and truly. And also with Bouaddi, going into next season, you would have, as I said, people that are likely to play in the pivot. Rice as an 8 or a 6. Miles Lewis Skelly the same. Zubamendi the same. By God's grace, we get Bouaddi, throw him into the ring. And you do have a Marino, a Kai Havertz across the course of the season that can play in midfield. But it's also the tactical flexibility, if I'm honest. Could you imagine a midfield three of a Rice, a Bouaddi, a Zubamendi? Like, just think of the centre mids, not necessarily the Ezes and the Odegaards. That doesn't mean it's not creative. It could give us stuff. Simply put, you could see why Arteta wants him, man. Aussie done their thing. Bouaddi's better than Odegaard. Different roles, my friend. Sadiq, appreciate you. Big up the champions. Linz has said, smash the like button. As Hyper has said, we're there. I haven't slept since the World Cup started. I'll sleep when I die, man. Happy Sunday, folks. We got, again, some good games today. Marcel, big up yourself. I will say, Marcel, someone who loves you, pause, get some sleep, my boy. And I say this all the time. You lot around the world, I don't know how you do it, bro. Honest to God, I don't know how you lot do it and wake up at these times, because this World Cup is relentless, man. So, yeah, man. I couldn't wake up. That was a myth, man. PSG, Liverpool, Arsenal, all interested in Bouaddi. Tough battle, but I think Arteta can convince him. I do think Arsenal could present a project to him. We've got stars that are on the, he could grow with the squad. There's people that are young. There's people that are slightly older than him. That's right now mode. Obviously, we've won the Premier League. We're getting through to the latter stages. He is French. You see the improvements Arteta has made with young players. So there's a lot to like about the individual. There's a lot. Again, where I see Tonali and Bouaddi, it comes down to money, innit? If you want Bouaddi, you're looking at 60, 70 odd million. Tonali, probably a bit more, but around that. You want a left winger. If it's not the guy we're getting from Greece, and it's a household name, you're looking at 50 plus. You want a striker of the caliber we want, it's 100 plus. This is the dynamics we're at, man. So yeah, Bouaddi only wants Arsenal only. Said that himself. Tamina, where did you see that? I'm not saying you're wrong, but where did you see that? Where has he come out and spoken about his future? And where you look at Bouaddi and Rodgers, obviously moves can happen during the World Cup, but you'd imagine there's no significant progress until, in Rodgers' case, when England are out of the World Cup or when their World Cup journey is done. Bouaddi the same. And not just those players or Arsenal. A lot of things will probably take shape after the World Cup. A couple players got their moves sorted. Kanate is going to be a Real Madrid player. Bernardo Silva, we're led to believe the same. Anthony Gordon's obviously gone to Barcelona. There's probably some other exceptions. But once the World Cup commences, you owe it to the country, you owe it to yourselves, you owe it to your teammates to just focus on that. Leave that to your agents. If the moves are going to happen, the moves are going to happen, innit? So, yeah, if I'm completely honest. Bouaddi and Diamande. Which Diamande? There's bare Diamandes. Are you talking about the one? Are you talking about the one that's obviously being linked with PSG and Liverpool, the winger? Are you talking about the centre half? Diamande. I don't know why I couldn't say his name, but they're always going to be linked. Okay. David Ornstein's posted something about Bouaddi. Let me see this. Where's that paywall thing, man? I unsubscribed from The Athletic. It's not worth it, so I need to find a paywall, man. Firewall. Where is it? Is it this website? Did you do it for me? Section article. Smash the likes, people. We're going to get into the tabloid stuff in a sec. Let me just work on that. Appreciate you, Linz, because of you, I've now gone on David Ornstein's thing. Oh, you're not opening. Over there. Where's the website I had last time, man? There was a website I was using where it removes all of that. And it worked a charm because that's when we was linked with the Greek lad, we went over that. So yeah, man, keep your conversations, keep your talking points coming as we work towards being able to read exactly what David Ornstein has said. You're not working. You're not working with me. Try again. You're not having it. Paywall. Where's my history? Because I've used the website. Is it you? I think it is, you know. See, I'm always working for you lot, you know. Always working for you lot. Let's move down. Because even for me, by my standards, the tabs are getting out of control. All right, this is not agreed. This is not happening, folks. Unless a miracle happens, well, we're not going to be able to get beyond that. So we're just gonna have to freestyle this one, people. But we're gonna get into that. Yeah, big up the Knicks, man. Big up the Knicks. Big up the Knicks. Yo, DJ, I don't know if you remember, but I told you last year about, I can't say his name, Eko Conde. The lad, that's the lad I'm talking about who scored for Australia. He went to Bayern Munich. He didn't really work out. He did well at Watford, as you're saying there. I swear we have some sort of links with Watford. I want him. I mean, we're neighbours, if I remember correctly. Like literally, the training grounds are next to each other. Bouaddi was asked what he thinks of the Premier League interest. Bouaddi gave a professional answer that he's focused on the tournament with Morocco. It's like 100%. Now, if we knew Bouaddi personally and we asked him, would you make of the Liverpool, Chelsea, PSG links, or we knew advisors or in his agent, they might say something different. But for the client, it's best to, as I said, you owe it to yourself. There's no guarantee you'll be at, no matter how talented you are, there's no guarantee you're going to be at another World Cup. So you owe it to yourself. You owe it to the people around the world, in Morocco's case, that are following them, obviously people that have made it to the ground. You owe it to the coaching staff, your teammates, and yourself to just focus on the football pitch. Everything all the conversations are because you let talking be done on the pitch. What you done at Lille, what you done yesterday, it will happen, man. See Weezy, appreciate you. Boston, appreciate you. Yandy Monday, Leipzig. We're gonna be watching him later today, man. What's on the agenda today? How many watch-alongs? DG? One minimum, 80% chance of two in it, if I'm honest. I'm not going to watch Germany carousel together. I'm just going to edit some pieces, people. So, yeah, man. There's over 100 of you tuned in. Please make sure we're smashing the like button. God bless everybody who has. We're going to get into everything in just a moment. This is completely butchered it. So, yeah, that's the firewall thing isn't going to work, people. And I'm just conscious of, we don't want to spend the live stream mulling over that. So, yeah. We'll get into everything, people. Bouaddi's going to be a superstar, world-class talent. 100%, he's 18. There are some moments where he shows he's an 18-year-old. He does some rash things. I remember, he does have some rash tackles in him, but can get caught on the ball overplaying. But these are things you'd expect of an 18-year-old. The pros undoubtedly outweigh the cons. Thoughts on the club, Brugge? I like what I see. Like, I don't want to be a hypocrite because obviously, if I just have my football fan cap on, Arsenal have won the Premier League. We've got some stars. Financially, we're all right. Everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet. You do want to see household names. You are more enticed by Bouaddi, just because of what he could be. And he's more of a household name to the casual football fan. We're not going to get them, but we've been linked with Vinicius and Alvarez and things like that. But I do always sit here and say, you either pay the going rate of Kvaratskhelia and all of these guys when they're at where they're at, and what comes of it, in our case, Morgan Rogers, or scouts do your job. When I look at that club, Brugge, there's a lot to like. Obviously, Norwich signed him when he was 19. It didn't really work out. He's been a bit of a wonder kid in Greece. He's been on loan he's played in a number of countries, Germany, Holland, Belgium, and England, didn't it? So there's a lot to like. It seems like he done all right at Germany in their second division. Again, at 24, he's gone through some good and bad moments. So yeah, man, I think scouts have done their job. First thing I thought is that's more of a Trossard replacement than a Martinelli. Seems a good finisher inside the box. Seems an intelligent man. Seems versatile. Doesn't break the bank. And he's at 24. He helps in the medium and long term, in it, because we do have to kind of shave some of these attackers off the wage bill. So I do like him, man. He played all right against us, from what I can remember. He's obviously got Champions League experience. He's gone through good and bad periods of his career. I'm all for it, man. I don't think that's going to be the only signing, but in terms of buffering and improving the attacking ranks, get it done for me, man. Get it done for me. Is it a needle mover? He might be. I don't know. I'm not comparing him to that, but I do think you either put the money down, as I said, or you go for players that were like, who is that? And then if they go and do the business, who cares? Like, it's not the same, but I'm sure every Liverpool fan will say Mohamed Salah is a legend, right? When they signed him, it was all my days, like, and I'm sure some of them said, "Oh, Chelsea reject, he's done it in Italy." What's being said now? If Liverpool, the club, listen to the fans, you don't get Mohamed Salah. They potentially don't win a Premier Champs in that clock period, and you don't. Mo Salah's not a legend, and there's bare kids in Liverpool and around the world of Liverpool supporting families that are called Mo in it, or Mohammed, better yet. So scouts do their job. For me, as long as it accompanies other things, I'm starting to believe we might get 3 attackers. I don't know if I believe we get the Belgium youth, Barcola, and Rodgers, but Bobby's your uncle. Keep the questions coming, people. Keep them flowing, and let's keep going, man. It's Sunday. Now, you would have seen yesterday, obviously, 18-year-old Bouaddi in his World Cup debut versus Brazil, 91% pass accuracy, so 60 completed passes of 66, 100% pass accuracy in the final third, completed all 16, had 6 ball recoveries, 5 interceptions, 9 duels won. So a great way to announce yourself. On his future, obviously, as Sadiq was saying, he's going to give the diplomatic response in it, because it doesn't make sense fueling speculation. He's not an idiot. You have to be aware of it, especially in social media, especially someone at 18 where that's their generation. I'm really happy to know that some clubs are interested in me, but for now, I'm only focused on the World Cup. We'll try to give everything to do our best, and I can't expect anything less. He was among all Moroccan players. He had the most touches, most accurate passes, most ball carriers, second ground duels won, second most successful dribbles. Now, on paper, if you do it against Brazil and stand out, you're right. We've obviously question marked the recruitment, the quality of the player of caliber being produced by Brazil, the immediate World Cup squad, and obviously the tactics. So you do have to respectfully to him discount it a tiny bit. But we were linked with him even in January. You'd imagine that obviously the World Cup's probably just enhanced us and many other British clubs and big clubs abroad to go for him. They're not just going to look and go, wow, oh my God, sign him now. He's been on the scene for a minute now, as such has been said. But apparently, Arsenal have been working actively on signing Bouaddi 18 for several months. The club have clearly indicated to Bouaddi that he'll be considered an important player in their project, with the player interested in a potential move. Lille want around 70 million euros for Bouaddi, while Arsenal believe their relationship is excellent with club president Oliver Letang, and it could help facilitate negotiations. Another element could be, unlike PSG, who are interested in Bouaddi, Arsenal are not a direct competitor in their league. Do PSG have competition in that league? Arsenal have already scheduled further talks with Bouaddi after the World Cup, and Mikel Arteta is expected to have a greater involvement in those discussions. The deal could accelerate quickly after the tournament, so it appears to be the calm before the storm. Romano said no top clubs are going for Bouaddi. He's been approached by PSG. They love him. There was direct contact with Arsenal and Liverpool. Both clubs had meetings with the agent of the player. It's going to be a summer of midfielders. Arsenal step up efforts to sign Bouaddi, according to what we just read with Sasha Tavernier. We've got a long-standing interest in him. We've spoken indirectly with his agents. We're hoping we can utilize the excellent relations from club to club. But again, crucially, further talks are planned after the World Cup, which we've got. Pardon me, remember, I woke up to a message this morning, says Alex Cook of TalkSport, from a very reliable source telling me Bradley Barcola has asked to leave PSG. Liverpool and Arsenal are both tracking Barcola. While Rodgers is Arsenal's top choice, I wouldn't rule out a move for Barcola. If it came down to Rodgers or Barcola, who would you go for? Do you think we get both? Do you think we get neither? Talk to me. And crucially, smash the like button. And that's what I like about Bouaddi. He can play as an 8 and a 6, so he's multifunctional. Can play a deeper line or more box-to-box role. And again, he's got a level of experience. He could be groomed, and it's a horrible word to use, but groomed and crafted and molded with Mikel Arteta. These are the kind of quote-unquote project players I want. Alex Cook has also said, I was told that up to 10 clubs, both in the Premier League and abroad, are showing an interest in Jerry Monga. Arsenal are very close to agreeing a deal with Leicester City for a fee, I'm told, will be around 10 million. He will triple that price tag in the near distant future. But if you get him for 10 million and it doesn't work out, you can obviously sell him. Another one, like I'm saying, if you've got a 16, 17-year-old Monga, a Bouaddi that's 18 years of age, couple, Lewis Skelly, couple of Max Dowman, 16, couple of people in their teens to mid and early 20s. This is what we need. This is what we need, people. So I do wonder how much first team football he'll get, because if you do get Barcola, Monga, obviously the Greek you and Rodgers, and we're trying to win a league title, there's games, but yeah, you're playing 30, 40 times in the championship already. I said I would love him at Arsenal immediately. But could it be worth buying him, loaning him back to Leicester, who have been relegated, but for a 16, 17-year-old learning the tricks and trades, another year of first team football under your belt? Or do you bring him into the setup now? While on the face of it, minutes are currency and young players need minutes, and you'd imagine he'd get some minutes, but not significant. Arteta can be hands-on. We all know, you got to learn to press, defend, where you need to stand in certain areas, yada, yada, yada. So could be interesting. Go back to December, and L'Equipe and Fabrice Hawkins said, RMC Sport can reveal Arsenal are pushing hard to sign Bouaddi as early as January. Burr has already spoken to the player's entourage. Leo want to extend his contract and look to sell him for more than 50 million euros. Now, obviously, as time's gone on, he's extended that deal, but maybe we've put the groundwork in now. We're not alone. You'd imagine, simply put, clubs have been harassing him probably for the last 2 years, if I'm honest. Ben Jacobs has said Arsenal looking for a midfielder, whether a 6 or an 8, possibly both, depending on outgoings. Like what Take a Touch is doing. If you could get him, because again, people might not like it, but Zubi can play as a 6 or an 8. I believe Lewis Kelly could play as a 6 or an 8. Rice could, Bouaddi could, and obviously Tonali could as well. And again, if it came to it, Tonali or Bouaddi, where you lot going, people? Arsenal are not giving up on Barcola. Football Transfers can reveal that Arsenal are refusing to abandon their long-standing pursuit of PSG winger Bradley Barcola. We are told that Andrea Berta first explored the deal last summer, only to be informed by PSG that the French international was not for sale. However, Berta has remained in contact with Barcola's entourage. Arsenal are still showing a strong interest in the winger, and they will have been emboldened by reports coming out of France that suggest PSG could listen to suitable offers this summer due to the players refusing to sign a deal. We have been linked with Kylian Yildiz. We've been rebuffed of making any approach. So while it can be said that Arsenal and Arteta admire him, it's not going to go anywhere. It's claimed Arsenal were prepared to pay 100 million euros. So what's that, 90 odd? We've gone over this. And again, we are exploring a deal to sign Christos Zelosis. He's a Greek forward who's had 2 spectacular seasons, as it says here, at Belgium. He's earmarked for around 40 million euros. Crucially, it doesn't impact us going for Morgan Rogers or anything. Arsenal are considering a move for Zelosis, he declared, says Romano. Contacts have already started on both the player side and the club side. There are conversations underway, and the player will be very excited about the possibility of joining Arsenal. They've scouted him extensively. They like the player, and they see him as a market opportunity. Wasn't we linked with a Club Brugge striker as well? So it just shows you when you hear scouts are watching players, there's an element of truth in that. But they're very rarely just watching one player in particular. So I have to see. They are completely separate stories. Tonali is viewed as an opportunity. Rodgers remains one of Arsenal's top targets for the summer. Of course, he's expensive, and of course, it's difficult, but Arsenal love the player, and he remains a name discussed internally. Real Madrid apparently are not the only team, people. Calafiori is not the only player interested in Real Madrid. Apparently, Hincapié is being linked with Real Madrid, people. Consistent with Jose going in, they probably need some defenders. Apparently, there's question marks at left back and centre half, so it doesn't surprise me. I can't lie. Zelosis, you lot are telling me very different pronunciations, man. I need the man to come and say his own thing. Zelowski, what is his name? How do you pronounce it? Someone help the guy. Hard pass on Barcola. If we have an issue with Martinelli, Barcola is the same tier of player. Bro. Rogers, Monga, Tizolis. Some of you said his head's quiet. Listen, you lot can do the smart thing. We know who I'm referring to, the Greek lad. Bouaddi is a massive... Rogers, Monga, Tizolis, Bouaddi is a massive window for me. Add a defender in there. Not too sure what prospects we're looking at in the back line, but I do believe we need another centre-back, full-back hybrid. It would be lovely if we could get a Swiss Army knife for Tomiyasu in it. That would be of great help to our squad. Bouaddi is miles ahead of Miles Lewis-Skelly, and I rate Miles Lewis-Skelly highly. Different levels in my eyes. A midfield three of Lewis-Skelly, Rice, and Bouaddi is chef's kiss. And it gives us something to pivot away from, because they can all press and do all of that, but for me, simply put, I want that double pivot of Rice, Zubi, Lewis-Skelly, Bouaddi, whoever you got, and the 10, whether that's Odegaard or Eze. But maybe we could play a different midfield three of more 6s and 8s rather than have that. And maybe creativity comes out wide. Again, I'm not saying we need to freestyle every game, but we need different stuff at times, innit? Rodgers 100%. Both, no. Rodgers or Barcola. Get Bouaddi in. Outside of his tech, Hova, Marino, and Gabriel will turn into a set-piece monster. Man saying both. Not sure Bouaddi is press-resistant. I think he is. I think he's more of a 6, man. In the modern day, I don't think you're going to be an 8, but you can be a multifunctional midfielder that can help across both aspects. That's why I wanted Bruno Gomares a few years ago. Matt, appreciate you. 150 people. Michael, you're too nice, and only 30 likes. Let's run up those likes, people. Bouaddi is who people think Anderson is. This is what top talent looks like. To be fair to Anderson, I don't think people have them in the same caliber. if I'm honest, and I think being horrible. How much is Tizolis and Bouaddi make per week, DG? Not a clue, man. They're gonna, if they do sign, they're gonna get significantly bigger wages than they're on at the moment. But yeah, he's giving Jokeres vibes at left wing. Not sure about him. No, it's more Trossard, if anything. And that leads me to believe I think Martinelli stays, Trossard goes, man. Zolis. Okay, his name is Zolis. We got here. His name is Zolis now. You're suffering from Alan Brazil. More Paul Merson, if I'm honest. We probably did scout another player, bro. Very rarely a club is not just gonna go and watch one player. You're gonna watch everything, essentially. So yeah. Excuse my manners, DG. How are we feeling as Premier League champions, my boy? Feeling great, feeling like $1 million. Appreciate you for asking. Zolis. This is the other side with Zolis. His wages will be much less than Trossard, which is true. And again, he's 24. If he's going to mix and blend in the squad, if you go and get Barcola, Rodgers, or someone else, and he's mixing and blending in the squad, who knows? I do like him. I do, from what I can see why he'd be brought in. He can play on the left and the right hand side. Not the quickest, but not the slowest. Like, his pace is decent, gets him behind. Seems a bit Trossard-y in how he makes instinctive decisions quick and fast in the box. I think it could be a good complement to the squad. You know, I think it's another kind of ceiling raiser, if I'm honest with you, rather than a level raiser. And let's have it right, man. You know, Martinelli and Trossard, we don't really know what we're getting. Noni, I like you, but you don't get numbers. Is Zolis, would you not take a punt on Zolis, really? Say, yeah, man. It is what it is. Leandro Trossard, Martinelli both leaving Arsenal this summer, DG. I don't know, man, because there's rumors Trossard leaving, Martinelli's leaving, Odegaard to Inter Milan. Everybody is being linked with everyone. Slightly, I think we've covered this, but apparently we hold a major advantage over Champions League winners PSG in the battle to sign Bouaddi. What is that? I bet it's just the fact, well, yeah, they're regurgitating the same thing. Arsenal been using every argument they can to try and convince him to join, which has evidently left a lasting impression. The Gunners can't be excused of lacking persistence, with the report stating they've been in contact with his entourage since early Jan 2025. The fact that Arsenal playing the Premier League also works in their favour, so maybe they don't want to sell him to, you know, whatever. Can't lie, I would love Warren Zaire-Emery, but it's not going to happen. Apparently, Arsenal continue to hold a strong interest in Barcola. Sources close to football transfers has insisted that Andrea Berta first made contact last summer. We've explored the deal, it didn't work, but we're not giving up. They're publicly insisting they don't want to sell him, but owing to his contract, he might have to keep it moving. Barcola is certainly not the only attacking midfield option that Arsenal are currently tracking, with Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers and Club Brugge's Zolis other options, people. Of all PSG stars, Barcola is the one who looks most vulnerable to leaving in the summer. While there is still uncertainty over Dembele's future at PSG as contract negotiations progress, Barcola is a much more expendable asset. His form towards the end of the season was disappointing, and it led to him being used as a substitute in the latter stage of the Champions League. Meanwhile, there are long-term doubts lingering over the ability of the wide man to be consistently decisive. And that's the annoying thing, because I said it, like, at all different levels, but Martinelli, Barcola, Madueke, to me, they're all the same kind of player in that they're not bad. But if this is their level, the penny's either going to drop and they go up a level. So decision making, you know, when you're getting in behind, slowing the game down. If that happens, they're up there. They're top players for Arsenal Football Club. But if it don't, they're going to play like this for the rest of their lives. Literally, whether they score goals or whatnot. We're getting Cava. You're dream chasing. Is Rodgers our left wing option, or are we signing a left winger regardless of him? We need an out and out winger. You could argue Zolis is that out and out winger, you know, a right footed left winger. Clearly, Rodgers is a bit like Eze. He's a bit of a Swiss Army knife. There'll be times you play on the right, on the left, centrally, in which long term I do think that's bad news for Odegaard, and maybe indirectly Eze, because I think he'll jump ahead of them on the queue. But granted, if you named Arsenal's strongest 11 right now, whether you have an Odegaard, Eze, whether you have a Lewis Skelly and Zubamendi or Rice, and which one of the two, Rodgers, like on paper, the left wing is kind of yours, really. And I want to see rotations, man, because if you've got Eze, for argument's sake, if Eze's playing in the 10 and Rodgers is out wide in the game, bro, they can mix and blend. You see what PSG do? These are the kind of things that we kind of need to do. We need one central way of playing, which we've got. We need to evolve that, but we need an ability to pivot, whether that is one in midfield of Rice, Lewis Skelly, Zubamendi, whoever have you, and you've got Eze, Rodgers, Odegaard rotating. Or as I said, kind of what we saw against City, where you had Odegaard and Eze in the side. There wasn't much rotation, but you got the creative men in the side in that regards. We need different way to play. Didn't Zolis play against us and perform? Wasn't standout, but I remember he forced a good save from Raya. Apparently, we were scouting Trezzoldi and the German striker had noticed Zoli. I forgot how you say his name now. Zolis. So yeah, probably. I saw a video of Zolis rooting for us in the Champions League final, bring him to the carpet. Tyrone, appreciate you, my boy. I've probably got over 100 Arsenal kits. As the tenacity to get at players and cover spaces, I think he's worth moving back here. Who are you referring to? I really want our coaching staff to be clever and convert Odegaard to a 6 or an 8, more of an 8. Technically and agility wise, he has everything to play deep, keep the ball moving like João Neves or Vitaya. Our midfield needs a player who's quick on the turn and produces line breaking passes or diagonal. Unpopular opinion, I agree with you, but I do think Arsenal fans are in this trap of thinking one man's going to be able to do that, and that's the key to breaking down low blocks. Of course, the more creative players you get, the better you are in that regards. But that's where the tactics, because players are tools in it. And like I just said then, we can have one central way of playing. There's different ways we can pivot, but it's down to the tactics to evolve. And the players to take even slightly more responsibility. Because I do think that's the next step. Arteta puts the shackles down a bit in attack, and players are promoted to find solutions. Because I do want to see more rotation. And you know what? The more you can get these creative players that are Swiss Army knives, man, you can't hit a moving target. There's certain things that Arteta could do next season that could be horrible for the opposition and lovely for an Arsenal fan. Getting players is half the job. Sorry, people. Need a bottle of water. As we continue this. Costco water, eh? So, yeah, that's Barcola. What else have we got? Hey, big up Balogun for scoring for America, by the way. What's going on here? What's this? Same thing. Wait, joining the Gunners would be a gamble for the Greek lad. No, it wouldn't. Respectfully to Club Brugge, you're joining one of the best performing clubs in the world at the moment, the Premier League champions and the Champions League finalists. And obviously, you was at Norwich. It didn't really work out. You know, you obviously, to us normal fans, respectfully, he's not really known like that. But for Greece, he was seen as a wonder kid. Didn't work out at Norwich. Went on loan to Twente. Went on loan to Dusseldorf. Seemed like he done all right there. Got his goal scoring move. Off the back of that, he got a move to Club Brugge, where in the last 2 years, he's got some abnormal numbers. So, ironically, he will return to these shores a much better player. And you look at a lot of our players, they've had those periods, people. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see, man. Arsenal giving price. What's the price for Bouaddi? What's the price? Prices going up. Prices. Big up Migos. 60.4 million. So that's cheaper than Tonali. But for that, I'm on it. That's cheaper than Tonali. You get a bit more legs in the camp. I wonder who is going to be first choice, but these are good problems to have. Now, you would have known our head of medicine departed, people, and apparently Dr. Zafar, he's confirmed his departure, and he said, while there's been speculation online around the reasons for my departure, the simple truth is that after the success of this season, the time is right for both parties to move in a different direction. Arsenal are in pole position to complete transfer after Premier League rivals attempt hijack. We remain confident of sealing the deal for highly coveted 16-year-old Leicester City attacker Jerry Monga. Apparently, Brentford are the latest club to express interest in him via his reps. And, you know, you'd imagine you're more likely to play first-team football there. Newcastle and another unnamed German club are said to be interested. Apparently, Arsenal remain in pole position to conclude a deal before July the 10th once he turns 17. So he'd sign a pro deal. That date is significant because Monga's first professional deal, formally agreed with the Foxes last summer, is due to become active, meaning the League One club can command a fee. So, yeah. Burr has been heavily involved in the pursuit of Monga. We're looking at young players, people. He's viewed as a prospect with serious first-team potential. However, it's likely he'll have to remain patient for opportunities, despite playing 30 times for Leicester. Exactly. This is where I'm getting at. Morgan Rogers, Club, Brugge Starlet, Zolis, and Bradley Barcola on our shortlist. We already know. Apparently, Sporting are set to bank over 3.45 million in add-ons after Gyökeres triggered that, people. You'd imagine there's a lot of add-ons in that. So, it seems like we're starting to move in the right direction. Ben Jacobs has said PSG still want to keep Barcola, and that won't change unless they add another attacker and the player declines a new deal. As a result, the door to a sale is not entirely shut. He's on the radar of Liverpool and Arsenal. Liverpool's current focus is on Yan Diomande, who's also a PSG target, while Morgan Rogers is one of Arsenal's leading targets. So we'll have to see how that develops. Everybody's saying the same thing. We're working on signing him. We're stepping up our pursuit to get him to the carpet. We're huge admirers of his technical profile and versatility in the middle of the park, people. And the path to the first team is there. The price tag is 60.4 million. Again, I'm going to ask you, look, would you do that? I was reading this. I won't bore you lot with it, but I would implore you all to read Saliba's interview, man. It's quite hard. Like, tugs at the heart when he's talking about his mom. He obviously died. Like, around the time he was at Arsenal and he wasn't in the first team and just everything, man. And I mentioned that because I am a bit nervous for a lot of our players with their fitness and injuries going into next season. And Saliba, there's rumours around he needs surgery and whatnot. The Daily Mail linked us with Lecaux of Crystal Palace. He's been discussed by Real Madrid, Arsenal, and United. Apparently, we're all admirers of him. He's currently in a standoff with Crystal Palace over a new deal. You'd imagine he moves on. We've been linked with Alex Scott at Bournemouth, people, and they're eager to time to a new contract. So that's probably a degree of admiration and a want to sign him. But new contract, you see these rumours all the time. Nottingham Forest have submitted a 28 million euro bid for Fabio Vieira. Hamburg are still trying to keep him, but the chances are fading. We've been linked with Ibrahim Mazza, who's, an Algerian international. Chelsea, as well as Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur have been credited with an interest. The Daily Mail is saying Aston Villa have no desire to sell Morgan Rogers, but suitors such as Arsenal believe 80 million could prompt negotiations. During Timber issues concerning injury update after missing the World Cup, and apparently he's raised doubt whether he'll return from injury for the start of Arsenal's Premier League season. So what does that tell me? Whether it's you, Ben White, we need another right back. What has he said specifically? It's nice. It's quite nice here. In about 5 days, I'm going back to London where I'll undergo several tests and see the doctors. I'm just resting for a bit now before I start rehabilitating. The recovery will still take a while. We're going to do scans and draw up a plan together, but I don't expect to be back very soon. In my head, I'm immediately thinking about what's to come. That is why I'm taking a break now. But at the same time, I'm already eager to show how good I am and to take the next step. I just want to get healthy again as soon as possible, feel good and start playing football again. I feel sorry for you, Timber, because you was robbed of participating at the Euros due to injuries, if I can remember correctly, and you've been robbed of a World Cup, man. West Ham shareholder Daniel Kretinsky insists the club are under no pressure to sell players for financial reasons. Man United and Arsenal are still chasing Hernandez. It does seem like Man United are in pole position for him. It's, City were linked with him. It seems like they're going for Elliot Anderson. One more linked with Bouaddi and obviously Tonali. So Man United have a free hit. So we're not going to read that. We know his asking price allegedly is 70 million. Kone, who's been linked with Arsenal this week, people have spoken, and he's probably said the same thing every player who's linked with a move and asked by the press probably says. Honestly, right now, I'm only thinking about the World Cup. It's my first major international competition, a tournament I've always dreamed of playing in. I want to remain exclusively focused on this. We'll talk about the future after the World Cup and see what happens. My goal is always to be ready for the coach and the team. It's true, I play a lot in qualification, but today we have a squad full of great players. So fair enough, nobody's going to be drawn on that. And he's also said there's many matches. He's had 2 hamstring injuries this season. Oof, that's tough. That is tough, I'll tell you that. That is tough, mate. So what are we saying? Smash the likes if you haven't. Bro, the amount of tabs are going to give me a stroke. I hope that's not the case. Zolis crosses the ball well. Gyökeres would love him then if that's the case. Big up DG. Media games last night. Bouaddi stood out. Absolutely class. Haiti got that energy, lack of guile, but them man are active. True. The gamble is probably more on his part. Exactly. It's like it's on your part. Like, I might not get bare first team football. Arsenal fans being Prem champions. What is the most important quality in a player for you? For me, decision making. I would say decision making, but I would also, all right, because that's one of those. But I would say the 3 C's. Confidence. Now, you're human. There's going to be times when you're in good form, you're going to feel even more confident. When you lose your form, you're going to lose confidence. You're human beings. But I think confidence, like when things are going well, you're not as good as you think you are. When things are bad, they're not as good. They're not as bad as you think you are. So I'd say confidence in life. I think that's the main thing. That trickles into mentality and things. Like look at Declan Rice. Obviously, his quality, he's justified from a footballing point of view, is 105 million price tag, but he's a leader. And he's got that about him, sort of thing. Magalhaes has got that about him. Gyökeres, obviously, he's not the prettiest of footballer. He's not the most direct fit, but you can get a tune out of him. He's a mentality monster. He's coped with good or bad periods in his career. And to be fair, Zolis, he's gone through stuff. So I would say that. I would say confidence. I would say consistency, because that's another thing. The 3 C's: competency, consistency, confidence. Competence, apologies. Competence, confidence, consistency. Competence is obvious. If you're a centre mid, are you a good centre mid? Consistency is obvious. If we're playing on a Tuesday, I'm not expecting you to be great every game, but if you're good if you're 20 out of 10 on the Tuesday, and then you're 3 out of 10 on the Sunday, and then the following Wednesday, when it goes down, you're indifferent, it's irrelevant. So I would say that, if I'm completely honest. I watch Rodgers every week, and he's frustrating. He turns the ball over a lot and may not be what you think he is. I'm on it, because he's a chaotic player. Do I think he's amazing like that? No. And do I think we gas him up a bit? 100%, but he's chaotic. I think Arteta would love to work with Rodgers for what he could do off the ball. He's chaotic. He's got the ability to score goals. He can fit into the system, but also cause chaos to our system in a good way. He's a Swiss Army knife. I'm on it. I think he's a level raiser, if I'm honest. Zolis as a backup slash competing left wing could be serious. He's got something about him. I still want a top left winger. Same, but I feel like I'm dream chasing. If you get Zolis and Morgan Rogers, I very much doubt you're going to get another attacker. Now, of course, Martinelli, Trossard, Jesus are all subject to speculation, but I'm not advocating sell all of them. You could have the best decision making, but if you don't have the quality to execute, that's a problem. Look at what we are trying to do, upgrade the quality. DG, if you win the Champions League in the future, will you be unbearable? I did wear a Brazil top. You have to have quality. Generally, apologies. I want my team to move the ball faster and more imaginatively and not allow any one player to stand on the ball and dominate the play. This is what Odegaard wants to do, and we don't need him. Vincent, one love. My biggest worry is not who will sign, but will we be playing the pragmatic defensive system again? It's like, if it's like a replacement, then whether it's Rogers or Barcola, things will remain. Thoughts? Again, I kind of said that, like, signing them's half the job. It's down for Arteta. You can get the tools. You can be a good tradesman. You get the tools. It's down to you to use the tool. It's down to the gaffer, if he's a tradesman, to use the tools appropriately, isn't it? Big up CJ, my brother. We need to move more tactical. Be aware of players who look proper in the World Cup and flop in leagues. Case in point, Amrabat. I hear you, but that's, for me, that's more flash in the pan. That is the players you can't really tell me, or I can't tell myself when you've watched them. They have a great World Cup. Bouaddi's not that. You're doing well at Lille. You're doing well for Morocco. So bring him, man. Bouaddi and Paz, but I like Argentina midfielder Barcola. He can play left back as well. Don't give Arteta any ideas. Didn't quite work out for him at Brighton. Ever since then, Strasbourg, he's made his name, innit? Smash the likes and pay your rent. Tell them again, man. Is there anything else Arsenal related? Keep the thoughts coming, folks. So, yeah, man, we're not even linked with anybody new. What's this? A new price for Rogers? I think it takes 100 million to sign him. Arsenal, Man United, and Chelsea have reportedly been set a new price to sign England World Cup star Morgan Rogers this summer. Obviously, he's currently in America. We kick off against Croatia on the Wednesday. He's expected to play a key part for England. While Rogers focuses on the World Cup, he will also have one eye on the transfer market and intense speculation linking him with a summer move. The 23-year-old has emerged as a target for Arsenal, Man United, and Chelsea after another fine season in which he helped Aston Villa qualify for the Champions League and win the Europa League. Mikel Arteta is keen to bolster Arsenal's squad after guiding the Gunners to a long-awaited Premier League title and reportedly wants to bring Rodgers to the Emirates Stadium. But new permanent Man United boss Michael Carrick, who managed Rodgers at Middlesbrough, is also an admirer of the midfielder, while Chelsea have long-standing interest. Arsenal were believed to be leading the race to sign Rodgers, but the Times says Aston Villa are braced for a fresh approach from Chelsea ahead of Xabi Alonso's arrival at Stamford Bridge. Villa were expected to demand around 80 million for a player who hopes to shine at the World Cup, but it's claimed those around the club believe a fee towards the 100 million paid for Jack Grealish will be the starting figure of any negotiations. So we haven't really learned anything, if I'm honest. Heskia said, would it be difficult to say no to Arsenal? Yes and no. You have to look at who's ahead of you in both teams. He's top of the part, Villa. He's the main man. If he goes to Arsenal, where would he be in that pecking order, and does it suit the way he plays? I think it will suit the way he plays, but you can make that same case of when United get back to where they need to be, Chelsea the same, Arsenal the same. Even if you went Real Madrid, you're going to have to compete. Respectfully to Aston Villa, you can be the king of the castle there. He's a very intelligent player, so I'm sure it would, but he has to figure out what he wants from his career. I hope Saka, Eze, Rice, Madueke, make sure you're doing what needs to be done on England duty, innit? Make sure you're doing your best to entice this guy to join our football club. I'd love us to go out and get a superstar player. Don't care if it's available or not. I want us to take another team's best player. I'd love Vinny, but you're probably going to have to pay him close to $1 million a week, and the whole wage structure is going to be shattered. Now, don't get it twisted. I do think we're getting to that level now where we need a Kvaratskhelia, Vinicius Jr., that kind of elite level of talent. But do you pay the asking price when these guys are at these clubs if they're available? Or do you find Kvaratskhelia before he goes to Napoli, let alone when he's at Napoli and then he goes to PSG? Mo Salah before he ends up at Liverpool. Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, these guys before they end up at Man City. Bouaddi is clear of the man we've been linked to, like Tonali and these other central midfielders. Slims, I thought you said Morocco was going to smoke us. Middlesbrough want 20 million from the Rodgers deal. I don't even think they want it. I think they've probably got a sell-on clause, but that makes negotiations difficult. Now, Aston Villa will fight tooth and nail to not let him go, innit? He's one of your star men. He's one of your key players. You just won the Europa League. You've just qualified for the Champions League. Rumors say that obviously managers are not necessarily saying, I want X, Y, Z. Sometimes it's a recruitment thing, as you've seen with Arsenal, with Mascara, for example. But there's also times where players want these players, and that you speak to Aston Villa fans or you speak to journalists. Emre was Rodgers is Emre's baby. He wanted him, so there's obviously that. But there's a cycle in it. There's a cycle in it. Like, it happens. There's a prospect to compete for a Premier League title, to get to the last stage in the Champions League. You could flip it and say, you could be one of many. You're with Eze, you're with Rice, you're with this one, you're with that guy. Park Rodgers off for a sec. We're going to replenish the squad. There's a lot of reasons to want to make this happen, in my opinion. 8 million gets us Rodgers. I think it starts the conversations, and I do think it will drag. DG, my bro, who you taking, Barcola or Rodgers? Barcola, personally. But if it was just in terms of the skill set, then I'd be lying. From a left winger, you probably need, away from Barcola's decision-making, just his tools in his box, we probably more need that than another Swiss Army knife of Rodgers. But I think Rodgers would bang. I'd sacrifice Odegaard for Paz. There's something about an Argentina player in terms of midfield, unless he plays for Chelsea. Bring him. I do think Arteta will change his tactics in a way. I really think Arteta will drop Gyökeres. I can see him playing Havertz over him if fit, and if Krupi comes in, he'll suit us more. Are we really getting Krupi? Do you think Skelly gets minutes next year with new signings coming in, and what happens to Marino? You've got to fight for your place. I do think there's minutes. Marino becomes a squad player. He's one of our few clutch players. There will be a time for him. Also, when the video is out, overhype the thing. You lot don't spend your hype on our stuff, man. Appreciate you. DG, well gone. I told you, you lot ain't got nothing for us. You're moving like Chelsea fans when they drew with Arsenal. Shit there at the office for Brazil, and all you're just waffling about Morocco. Oh my God, Morocco. Bouaddi. I'm not gonna lie, Slims. I missed you, Why weren't you part of the watching up? I thought Morocco were gonna pack us in. Them first 10 minutes should have killed us. To be fair, I think we were better than you in the second half. I feel when you lot scored, it highlighted the tactical fragilities and the gaps, but that's when Brazil looked like they started settling. I feel both teams, Morocco was more of a case of finishing, but they want to create a bit more. Brazil is just un-Brazilian. They're just horrible, man. Brazil got no chance, because even tactically, everybody's tactics in the World Cup right now is narrow and compact at midfield. If Morocco, with the greatest of respect to Morocco, who are a good footballing side, if they do that, Brazil, you can't beat England. I know you did in a friendly, but you can't beat England if you carry on like this. You're going to get bought by France. You're going to get bought by Spain. Spain would do the most damage because it will be death by 1,000 parts. There's too many gaps. On the ball, it's un-Brazilian. Off the ball, it's tactic. It's not a strong European kind of approach that I'd expect from an Italian and Carlo Ancelotti. A lot of players are past it. A lot of players aren't good enough. A lot of players are un-Brazilian. So you add all of these ingredients into a pot and stir it. This is the meal that's been served, isn't it? Which is 2 packs of arse. Better yet, arse sweat. You go gym. Dead. You know what kind of arse sweat it is? You see builders and they got builder bum. Big up the 9-to-5ers. Them man, they've been building and working and sweating since 6 in the morning, bro. That's what Brazil. What 2 packs of arse, bro? It's dark. The only things I would say, I could get the approach with Paqueta and Rafinha where they were receiving the ball, but the first touches were horrible. I do think the pitch for both teams was waterlogged, but Morocco were better. Moroccan fans will be the happier and the most pissed off. Happier because they played better, pissed off because they should have put Brazil on a t-shirt in the first 10 minutes. The only good thing about Brazil yesterday was distract from Vinicius, bro. But this is the thing. You haven't got a good collective conglomerate or cohort of attacking players, bro. So one Vinicius. Before that, it was a one Neymar. You go back, there was Romano, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho. There was talent. Even the steady Eddies, bro. No one's as good as Gilberto Silva. The current, like Casemiro in 2026, ain't got the legs. Gamara's ain't got the legs. Fabinho, Defo ain't got the legs. But again, a system can hide deficiencies. There's too many. Look at the goal you lot scored. From a Moroccan perspective, it was amazing. But midfield nowhere to be seen. Gaps with the centre halves with Magalhaes and Marquinhos. Don't know what Alisson's doing off his line because he's still got a lot to do. But it just tells you that Brazil are not compact enough. They don't understand the system. And above all, what people forget, communication. So that's why Brazil. Oh shit. We need a miracle, bro. Brazil need a miracle to go win that World Cup, cuz. Choice between Rodgers and Barcola. Rodgers for me. Hey, spud me. You're part of it. I'm more on Rodgers. I like Barcola, and I would have Barcola, and I'm a hypocrite because I've been saying I don't really want potential, and I mean asterisks. If it's a Jeremy Monga, a Bouaddi, these kind of guys that are fairly experienced but inexperienced, I'm on that. Like unknown guys from Brazil, you know, the Ecuadorian twins we grabbed. I'm on that kind of potential. For me, I'm not on. I wouldn't say it's potential, but I'm not on like polishing rough diamonds anymore. Like if we sign Noni this season, granted, it could happen next season, but if we sign Noni this season and when we start, if he can improve his decision making, all that jazz, if the penny dropped and that happened and it happened with Martinelli, I'd be more receptive in it. But we've already got players like this. Now, Barcola would be like the Lionel Messi of these players. He's the Lionel Messi of Madueke's. But I would take a punt on him because I don't think Martinelli days are numbered. I think Barcola could be that. I don't think our attackers are slow, but blistering pace. It's really only Martinelli in behind, isn't it? And Noni, to be fair. So that's where I'm at. Really, he's Angola. Look at this guy. Monga, Quintero brothers, Dalman, Wanyeri, crazy future. So whether they're going to progress to the first team will be sold for profit, I'm here for it. Watch the Australian interview, Tony Popovic. Man said Mikel Arteta is my role model after slapping Turkey. Right. This is I can't remember. How do you... Jolis. The Greek UT, I can't remember how you lot said to pronounce his name. Looks okay to me, but I think he'll be average in the league. He's like a B-Tech Yildiz. Well, to be fair, if he could be Trossard, the next Trossard, that's good because Trossard's actually worked out. Like under Mikel Arteta, that's been the best attacking signing. Like our best attackers have been those that were at the club. We got a tune once upon a time out of Martinelli. Saka's obviously. To be fair, Odegaard, we signed him for 30 million, but Yokerezi's worked out, Eze's worked out, but they still divide opinion. Everyone will. You can say Trossard needs to move on. He's probably not the guy for 38 games, but Trossard is going down as a cult hero. He's been clutch. And to be fair, I still don't know where I stand. On one hand, I think I'm on Martinelli and Trossard both leaving. I'm more receptive to Martinelli leaving. I'm more receptive to Trossard leaving. I don't think both should leave. I can't lie. I don't think Mika Gott's conversation at Arsenal's got off the ground. Bouaddi has played many games at right back too. In our current situation, might be worth paying what it takes to get him. To be fair, Warren Zaire-Emery played that under Luis Enrique. We've seen certain man play right back. Don't give Arteta ideas, man. I know we win, guys, but let's be. I don't know what you're saying. I don't want another Trossard. He's average, bro. Freddie Longberg was average. Everybody loves him. You can be average. We need to get level raisers, but you can be average. Average ain't a bad thing. Gilberto Silva was average. A lot of legends that at clubs weren't anything to really scream and shout about, but what they gave you was a new dynamic. We can't just have name brand guys. So yeah, not sold on Barcola. I'm not. I'll take a punt. Do you think we'll take the young lad over Tonali? Yeah, I do. I think they're both going to be expensive, but I think Newcastle are going to make. I think Leo are easier to. What's the word, man? I think Leo are easier to negotiate with than Newcastle. Newcastle are going to play hardball over him. There's just too many factors. There's pros for Tonali that are cons. Like he's obviously significantly more experienced, but I just think it makes more sense to go for Bouaddi. That man are from Peru. Cunha should be playing for Cape Verde. Damn. First 20 minutes, you man didn't touch the ball, and I was watching the game with fam still. But yeah, watch back here, watching of course. My guy. Zolis and Barcola, Bouaddi cover for Rice, Miles Lewis, Skelly, and Zubimendi. I don't buy the Inter Milan links because what are we going to sell Trossard for? Odegaard for? Player valuation is gone, but he's just won the Premier League. He is a captain. He is a quality player. We did get him for 30 million. Is it fair to say we can at least double that and get 60 million euros for him? Or do Inter have the money like that? Because of the top 5 leagues, seems like they're the brokers. Obviously, you look at Kai Havertz, you look at Odegaard, you consider if we were to name Arsenal's strongest 11, what we think it is, and if we were to do it for Arteta, we know it's going to be very different. Kai Havertz is going to play up front. Odegaard is going to play in the 10. So they're key players to the system. They're important in and around the dressing room. Arteta loves them, but they're on big money. And time waits for no one in it. We're evolving. Odegaard can't have another... There's a lot of players that can't have another season like they're having in it. Because if you sign Rodgers and he shells it, if Eze gets better and better, if there's a change of heart with Wanyeri, I don't think Max Dalman is ready right now to consistently play for Arsenal in central midfield. As you can see with the last game against Crystal Palace, it's a right wing thing. There's decisions and they're on big wages. We're no doubt going to give out big wages again this summer. We did last summer. We've committed a number of players to new deals, since last season. You probably imagine Timber's going to get an upgrade. Declan Rice is going to get an upgrade. So these are things to consider. Right now, it's obviously about bringing in players and getting better and all that kind of jazz. But there's an element of looking like getting our resources in order. There's 300 odd thousand, not that I care, but there's 300 odd thousand a week going on Gabriel Jesus and Reece Nelson. When last did you see them play kickball for Arsenal Football Club on a consistent basis? So there's that kind of factor. So yeah, man, I think that kind of logic applies to Kai and Odegaard in the next year or two. Like, assuming Odegaard, Kai, and Martinelli stay, I think next season you have to do something to change thinking, or you'll be moved on. If we're buying Rodgers to play 10 and 8, I'm all for it. But to be our main winger, not for me. Go and get Deluded or Vinny time. We need an elite player. My question is, Rice is absent. Who starts, Bouaddi or Tonali? Well, neither is at the club. I would say Tonali, to be fair. I don't think we're getting creepy. We had you, man. You told me Brazil smoky. We should have won even with 2 starters injured. See the Brazil squad. Where was Neymar? What a trophy for Morocco. Good afternoon, DG. Hope you are well and having a good afternoon. Right back at you, Hayden. Who do you think the double 170 million deal is going to be? Rodgers and who? I mean, if PSG really have softened their stance on selling Barcola, I'll go with that. My bro, if we sign Zolis, we need Barcola. Zolis plays like Trossard and Barcola has the burners like Martinelli. With that being said, I'm swaying towards the Rodgers deal. Rodgers will bang. Bro, Rodgers will wreak havoc in the Arsenal shirt. I think Arteta is getting frustrated with Odegaard. He keeps subbing him, and this is your captain. Odegaard is looking like, I say the word Emirates era subjectively, but there was a time where, our captain never played. Arteta was one of them. Maybe it tips towards that. For me, first picks Vinny and Yildiz. And if we can't get them, Leao, Rodrigo, Rafinha, Barcola, and by all means, avoid Rashford. I'm not going to lie. If man are saying go get Rafa Leao, I'd rather just take a punt on this quote-unquote unknown Club Brugge guy. Top 5 players to let go this summer, DG. What's your preferred versus what do you think the club will do? So what would be my preferred to move on? And then what I think the club will do. My preferred to move on, Gabriel Jesus, Trossard, because I want to keep Nelly for another season. Nelly, I really should say the opposite. Reece Nelson, Fabio Vieira. And Ben White, unfortunately. Like, if they could sit there and tell me Ben White's over his injury issues and stuff like that, then I'm all for that. You and Timber is great, but I don't really want to, cash in on that, get a cheaper fullback, someone who's more durable, because injury's always going to happen, innit? But I don't feel comfortable with Timber and Ben White's injuries going into next season right now. The same with what we hear around Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba. Obviously, Declan Rice isn't injured, but he's played a lot of games. I do wonder what next season looks like, not just for us, but a lot of clubs. Odegaard stay because Arteta knows if needs be, can be rotated without fuss. Smash the likes if you haven't. If Odegaard goes, would that mean Rivers? Do you mean rivals would come in for his replacement or keep Wanyeri playing there with Eze swapping? I would rather just loan out Wanyeri. If he's not going to play consistently, he might go on. Minutes are currency. I think there's something in the Odegaard links. He has 2 years left, and there's been no news of a contract offering by the club. Probably want to see him show some fitness. I see links to centre-back from Crystal Palace. Does that mean thinking cover for Saliba if he's going to be out? Probably. Which player do you think will get a statue in the future? Not a clue, but if I had to put a gun to my head, Rice and Sachs. Villa doesn't have much money to spend, so they're going to get max dollars from Rodgers. Exactly. And maybe move on to others. We should bin Rice while he's on his peak. Otherwise, he's going to struggle because he ain't got the technical ability needed to play in his 30s. Bin Declan Rice. That can't be an Arsenal fan. But yeah, what I think the club will do, I think Kepa Norgard move. I think Trossard goes. I think Jesus goes. I think Nelson Fabio Vieira goes. 1 minute Simbin. I'm taking a Simbin on your behalf, man, because nigga, what? Get rid of Rice. For what? There's nothing Rice can do. No one don't look at Rice and think Versailles or Pedri, but if anyone that's played football, Rice makes your team better. You love a teammate like that. He can pass the ball forward. He can switch play. He can get the ball under pressure. Interceptions. Take it. Bro, Rice, we've hit gold with that, bro. Don't bring that fucking to me. Rice is here until he's on the wrong side of 30. He probably goes back to West Ham. I see him reverting back to a centre-half before his career is done. In the same way we all knew Wayne Rooney would play in midfield at some point. Man said get rid of Rice, bro. Get rid of Rice. I don't know who Arsenal's most important player is. You could say it's Gabriel. You could say it's Saliba. You could say it's Rice. But I've seen us kind of maneuver without Saliba and Gabriel. If somebody was going to be out for 5 to 10 games, I wouldn't pick Declan Rice. I don't think we can do anything without him. That's why I need cover/competition for him. We all saw even moving it right back his present against West Ham. What happened? Get out of that fucking man. Could Zubimendi be doing the right back shit? Because next season, there's certain games I want both our fullbacks to invert. I want both our fullbacks to invert. I want our wide men to stay in that half space. And I want more midfield runners. That's why I want Eze, Rodgers, all of these guys. You can't hit a moving target. Are you done with that foolishness about Rice now? Man say get rid of Rice. Get rid of Rice and do what? And sign who? Get rid of Rice today and sign who? I don't know if I'm being biased, but I don't see a single midfielder that does what Rice does consistently out there. He's a rare player to have. That's why he costs what. And then again, no one talks about his price tag. There's not a single team Rice wouldn't play and thrive for. He defo starts at PSG. He starts at Real Madrid. He starts at Barcelona. He starts at every team in England. Let's stop the nonsense, bro. And if you're not giving me 210 million, I'm not entertaining shit. Even if Leao is good, I doubt Teta wants him in the squad. Yeah, man. Get rid of Rice and hand the league, bro. I shouldn't even be giving time to that. Why don't you lot rate Leao? I don't get it. He has won quite a lot of trophies. To Player of the Year more than once. I think he plays with average guys. Look what he done he's a good player, but he's hot and cold, bro. Like, he's another one. You would be, I'm not saying you're on the same level, but you would be like Martinelli and Noni, where there's 10 games, 2 you're going to play like a world beater. The next 2 you're going to be indifferent. I'm not on it. If he signs, I do like his technical ability. I do think he's a good player, but being a good player can't just be it. Rice will retire here. I doubt it, man. I think he goes back to West Ham and calls it a day. People don't forget Rice got elite positioning. Bro, we're not even entertaining that, bro. Bouaddi worth that 70 million, man. We need a proper backup for Declan. Backup, but it'll be competition / could play with him, man. I don't think he's just going to sit on the bench. Do you see Lewis Kelly getting good minutes next season? I definitely hope so and do at this moment. Odegaard, Trossard, Nelly for Rodgers. Zolis, Barcola, that's a clear upgrade. Would you not sell Mikel Merino? I'd hold on to him for a year, man. He's a good squad player and he has that clutch gene. I wouldn't mind Odegaard going, to be fair. If we invest well and get good money for him, I'm for that as well. But he's not someone I'd be actively trying to move on. You would be if somebody presents us an offer, we've got a decision to make. As I said in the last stream, yeah, and I'm going to put it out there, everybody's got an asking price. Everybody's for sale, unless your name's Lionel Messi and that kind of caliber. But for want of better terms, for me, I've got like unsellables in this team currently. Like you got unsellable top bracket. Another word for unsellables, but not quite unsellables, if that makes sense. And then you've got people that I wouldn't be moving on, but I'd be open to interest. And what I mean by that is, for me, unsellables at this moment in time, Gabriel Magalhaes, Declan Rice, Raya, Saliba, Timber. Obviously, I don't have him in that bracket right now, but you could say a Miles Lewis Kelly, etc. But just focus on the names I said first. Then unsellable players I wouldn't sell that are going to play naturally. Eze, Gyökeres, for me, Zubi, Miles Lewis Kelly, them kind of maxed out. Max Dowman's unsellable as well, but he's young. That kind of thing. And then you've got people that need to go, as we know, with Vieira, Gabriel Jesus, probably Kepa and Norgard will move on. That we know them kind of players, that like, especially the ones on loan. And then you've got people that I wouldn't actively move on, but I wouldn't actively attempt to move on, but there's a decision to make. As I was saying, Benjamin White, if you could get a younger fullback that's got a cleaner record with injuries, that's on less wages, and there's interest in Ben White, keep it moving. Odegaard, you haven't quite been the Odegaard. I understand you're vital to the system. I wouldn't be looking to move you on. But if an offer comes, if these rumors were true and you're getting your money back, like I said, decision to make around Odegaard. I wouldn't look to move on, Kai and Grant. We're not going to make our money back. But there's a decision. I want to keep Merino because next season's long. I think we need stability. I think you can... I don't see you as being a main player, but you can help out. That would be someone else. So hopefully that explains it. Who's even on the right back market that we can go for? Isn't Livramento just as injury prone as White? Scouts, do your job, man. It's one thing not being able to find a left winger or a striker, a cute centre mid, but come on, man, you should be able to find a defender somewhere, man. Rodrigo over Barcola every single day of the week. Yeah, he's injured though, man. So that's a myth. That's a myth. These players coming in no terms to say they hit the ground running. Every signing's a risk, man. Bouaddi can play right back too, no. I'm a broken man. What I do for an Alexis Sanchez, bro. If I could get an Alexis Sanchez, a Santi Gazzola, a Sammy and Nasri, they would help. They would help us greatly, man. Put Leao around good players, you'll see the difference. It's just consistency, bro. You're not selling it. You're not going to sell him to me, mate. I still rate Odegaard maybe too highly, but now I see that man's work rate and control on the ball. I can't help but feel there's still more for him to offer. He's got to do it, bro. Are these fans wanting to sell almost all of our title-winning squad? Are funny, honestly. They never learn. We know where we are. We need to get better. We don't need an overhaul. We've got to 2 finals. Martin Odegaard still has 2 years left until Diamond can come through and replace him. Leao and Rashford suffer from the same indifference to their poor team performances. They don't have that elite killer mentality to want to always perform. We don't need that. Even Gabriel can get moved on if he hits the age cliff. I feel like you're moving mad with it, DG. You're not listening. You're not listening. But fair enough. Miles Lewis, Skelly, Bouaddi, Rice is a cold midfield. Bro, them options, I think since I started YouTube, I've been crying about Arsenal sending me like I'd finally shut up. Rashford over Leao. I'm not going to lie. I'd rather Leao. They're both the same player to me. Rashford is man, them and whatnot, but I think Leao would be cheaper. I think he'd be on slightly less wages. Rashford over Leao, Rodgers over Barcola. Let's end the Rice nonsense immediately. No one in world football can replace him for me. A true complete midfielder that affects all phases of play. Sell Rice and get Enzo Fernandez. 100 million will improve your dead midfield. Facts. Okay, so not an Arsenal fan, not taking in what you've got to say, chatting shit. Everyone says Rice is not this and that, not that good average. So why is there not loads of Rices out there? Tell them again. One love for the super chat. What a name. Flawless _ Snow Bunny _ Pussy Hunter. Long live my king, Flawless Snow Bunny Slayer. Love for the super chat. Flawless, them allegations are crazy. No, Villa have a finance issue. It'll be 8 million as we be the only player at the table. You really think we'll be the only player at the table for Morgan Rodgers? Now, I don't think that. Now, if PSG, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, all the teams linked to him, if they all put an offer and Rodgers tells Villa, listen, I hear what you're doing, go get your money, provoke your bidding war, I only want Arsenal, that's very different. But do I think we can sell him a very good project? Yes, but I don't think we're alone in that regard. So I wouldn't say we're the only player at the table. And how do we know these things? Like, maybe forgive me if I'm wrong, but do you not know better? Do you not know the Aston Villa Dons? Do you not know Morgan Rodgers? Where did you not hear this? Because we're all like, unless you lot are genuinely brethren, where are we hearing this? Chelsea have no chance. You have tried to get him. I wouldn't underestimate it. Could Bouaddi be a James Rodriguez tournament sensation? Then he doesn't consistently ball out. You have to be careful with tournament breakouts. Hopefully, I'm wrong if we get him. This is where I disagree. Because Bouaddi is young. He is going to have good or bad games, but he's not an unknown guy. Nobody ain't heard of. He's gone and played for Morocco, and he's lit. You've obviously seen what he's done for the last year or two at Lille. He's just doing it at a world platform. With the greatest of respect to Lille, it's very different doing it at Lille to playing for PSG, playing for Arsenal, playing for Man United, playing for Chelsea, playing in front of millions at a state, around the world. So yeah, I think it's very different, bro. I don't think it's not no flash in the pan. You've come out of nowhere. You're having a great World Cup and the World Cup's done. And then, yeah, man. Just a dumb Chelsea fan. Is my Arsenal's midfield not dead? You truly are deluded, Gooner. Well, I mean, you've got Mr. Enzo. I might be deluded, but I'd rather be deluded than a fucking idiot because you're telling me about Enzo Fernandez. The team finished 10th. Yeah, he's another one that would go elsewhere and thrive. But if our midfield is dead and we finish top and got to a Champions League final, what are we talking about here? It sounds great. It sounds amazing. You sound like you've got barbershop opinions. Please don't tell me about Caicedo. What has he done? Please don't tell me about Enzo Fernandez. What has he done? We've got proof of concepts at this football club. What are you talking about? Just chatting shit. Morgan Rodgers chooses us over most Prem teams, though, DJ. I never said that. Man said we're the only players at the club, the only player at the table. Chelsea's pool gets weaker by the year. Right now, all they have going for them is Xabi Alonso. And who is to say he's even there after 1 year? I'm not disagreeing with that. I think people need to listen. Would you sell Odegaard and get Palmer, Gibbs, White, Paz, or Alma? Which one are you picking? Cole Palmer, Nico Paz. But Palmer, I'm not going to play you in the 10, man. You're probably going to play out wide for me, or we're going to have to accommodate you. Danny Almo, I wouldn't sell Odegaard to get Gibbs White. For Palmer, yeah. The best summer transfer window: Zolis, Rogers, Monga, Krupi, Tenali, and a young right back Palestra for me from Bologna, where we got Calafiori. Seems like he could be going Inter. Bouaddi is not new flavour of the month. The kid's always been in. And that's where I think it's very different, bro. That's where I think it's very different. Off topic, but I was watching Due comps last night. My God, he's so silky. Wish we could see that in the Prem week in, week out. They're the kind of players we need. Some Arsenal fans are complacent and forget rivals will strengthen too. Don't need an overhaul, but we need to get rid of average players and replace with upgrades. That Bouaddi kid is the new flavour of the month. People need to relax. Every international tournament, there's always a standout. I think Fresneda, we've been linked with him. I think, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I think you lot incredibly naive if you genuinely think he's flashing the pan. I even said at the beginning, don't get twisted. He had a great game for Morocco against Brazil, but they're gassing it. But he's not a flash in the pan. He's literally been doing that, Leo. No doubt you'll be doing it beyond that. He's unfortunate they didn't get in the French side. He's not an unknown guy. And Morgan gives White over Odegaard. Caicedo looks like a Jose kind of signing. At least 55 tabs open. Yep, and counting. That's great for them. What does that mean? Scott Carson is one of the most decorated goalkeepers, as is Pinto and Victor Valdez. Are you going to say anything about Victor Valdez? There's probably bare Reballs that won the treble at Real Madrid. DG dealing with the selective hearing crew today. Bro, bare selective hearing, bro. DG O'Hardy was 22 last World Cup and he was flavour of the month. He's playing in Girona now, who are in League Two, which is true. But nobody was gassing up this Arnani guy of what he was doing at club level, and then he's gone to the World Cup. It's very different. Just say you lot don't watch French football. Did we look at Rogers last season? I don't know, man. You'd have to ask someone. Are we looking at any right back at the moment? As I haven't seen anything online. I hope so, but to me, as a neutral, well, not even a neutral, as just an armchair expert, boy, we're gonna have to wait and see. It's the 14th of June, man. So, like, this is the calm before the storm. Obviously, things are going to probably explode for a number of clubs during the World Cup. Signings are going to happen anyways and happen regardless. So, it's gonna be interesting to see exactly what happens, man. People just don't watch football. Bouaddi, along with 3-4 others under 20 team for Morocco, was killing it for ages. Bouaddi's going to be a top player. I honestly hate World Cup transfer windows. Bouaddi's going to cost 20 to 50 million more than he would. Yep. I feel like we could get Paz for less than 40 million or loan him. I don't want him on loan. I want him permanently. So, yeah. DG, who do you think that secret player, Hand of Arsenal, is referencing? Vinny, Alvarez? I'd rather they strengthen on the left. Honestly, not a clue, because secret could be anything. Now, we could get excited and we won the Premier League in the links, and I'm making things up, but assume, it's Vinny, it's Kvaratskhelia. What if it's a Reebok? Now, what if that secret player is, you're not of that caliber yet, you're not a household name, but it's just secret because it's secret. We don't know. We genuinely don't know. Is Bouaddi any better than Rabiot at his age? Yeah, and even if he isn't, so what? What does that mean, bro? What does that mean? At 21 years of age, Mascara is better than Van Dijk, better than Van Dijk and Gabriel Magalhaes. What does that mean? Like, will he be that when he's that age? What does that mean? Ethan to Chelsea. It would suck for him to go Chelsea. It makes sense if he gets an opportunity there, great, but it's on brand with Chelsea and Football Manager signings. I think Bouaddi can be Rice's bench. Zubimendi should get sold. I don't think we're going for Mika Gotts. The links seem to be from the fans, them saying, let's go for him. Put the Rabiot in the bag. Bouaddi clears him in every attribute, bro. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But I'm going to leave you lot now, people. I'm going to leave the selective hearing crew and some of the bewildering shouts. But yeah, on that note, though, people, I'm going to go gym. I'm going to see you lot for a watch along. As usual, it's been amazing. Great way to start Sunday. You lot stay safe, stay blessed. Link up in a few hours. Subscribe if you haven't. Press the hype button if you haven't. Hit the like button if you haven't. And most importantly, man, stay in good health. We'll link up again, man.